Hello, William H. Owen Elementary Roadrunners. This is Assistant Principal Mrs. Hunt, and I wanted to talk with you about a few expectations that we have for our students while we are doing virtual learning. So, as we all know, we are doing virtual remote learning. And what does this mean? Well, of course, it means that you are working on your computer at your house, and I'm working on my computer in my office. We're remote, but we are learning together. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, what do I do in remote learning? Well, we have two ways that we are learning and teaching right now. The first way is a big word called synchronous. That means we're all together. So right now, we're together. We are talking about what learning is. Then there's another word, asynchronous. That means that we are working by ourselves, independently. So whenever you are doing homework at home at night, you are doing asynchronous learning. That means you are doing your best to work by yourself and do the work that your teacher has given you. Well, since we're all doing this remote learning now, we thought that it might be a good idea to talk about how to best set up your remote learning site. So I thought about it. And, you know, the good thing is you can set up a learning zone at your house. And at your learning zone, you will have everything that you need for your schoolwork. It would be kind of like your office or like my office. So what are some of the things that you might need to put in your learning zone? Well, of course, you need a place to put your computer. So you need a table or a little TV stand that you can put your computer on and watch your teacher as you're working. You are going to need some paper, right? And something to write with, because your teacher may ask you to write down something. And you want to be able to write the answer and then show it to your teacher. You may also have to have some books. I know I was looking at second grade math earlier today, and I had to have a second grade math book. If you're in second grade, I bet you have this math book. You need to put it in your learning zone so you have it handy whenever your teacher says to pull it out. And that goes for all the other grade levels too. And then, of course, if there are other people at your house or at your daycare and they're walking around and talking, you may need to have headphones or these little nifty earplugs like I have. Somebody gave these to me. So that you can put them in and it'll be quiet while you're learning and you won't be distracted by all the noise going on around you. So there might be some other things you might want in your learning zone or your office. I know, I have sticky notes. I write myself notes all the time. But either way, you want to get all those things and have them ready before class starts. Another thing that you need to do is to make sure whenever you log into your classroom with your teacher that you turn your camera on. What would happen if my camera was turned off? You would just say, look, just hear me talking, but you wouldn't see my face. That would be kind of annoying, don't you think? Your teacher wants to see your face. Whenever she's talking to you or asking questions, she'll look at your face to see, oh, well, Susan looks like she understands. Or Jeremy looks like he might have a question. You need to leave your camera on. Another thing you do need to do, though, is to make sure that you mute your mic when you're not talking or asking your teacher a question. Have you ever tried to listen to your teacher talking and you hear somebody over there making noise, it makes it hard to focus and pay attention, doesn't it? You don't want to be that person distracting your classmates. So make sure that you mute your mic whenever the teacher is talking. She'll give you time to unmute your mic if you have a question or you want to say something. She'll let you know when to do that, though. So what do you do once class starts and your teacher starts her lesson? It's very important that all of our scholars use their listening ears. That means that you are paid attention. You are focusing. You may have your earbuds in, but in the end, you are listening to your teacher so that you catch everything that she says because she's sharing important things that you need to know. So what if your teacher says something and you just don't understand? Well, there's two things you can do. One, you could raise your hand. That would be good. Or you could put it in the chat and you could say, Miss Hunt, I don't understand how to do number 1. Could you explain that to me again? And of course, she's going to read the chat and she'll answer your question. One of the other things that is very important that we have going on at Owen Elementary right now is our Owen 4. You all know what it is. We've talked about it a lot. Be safe, be respectful, be responsible, and be productive. Well, you may be wondering, what does all of that mean? Well, we're going to talk about it for a minute. What is the Owen 4 in a remote learning environment? Well, first, it is very important that you be safe. If you log into your Google Classroom and you notice that there's not a teacher or a instructional assistant in the classroom, you need to log off immediately. If there's not a teacher in your meet, log off. This is not the time to be chatting with your friends or just sitting there watching and waiting for somebody to come in. Go ahead and log off. You can wait a few minutes and log back in. I bet your teacher will be in then. Being respectful. Well, we always want to be respectful, not just to our parents and our fellow classmates, but also to our teachers and other adults that might be working with us at school. You want to use kind words whenever you're talking to your classmates. And you also want to use kind words when you're talking to adults. And that includes in the chat. The chat is only for you to be talking about schoolwork. It is not the place that you ask if somebody's going to be playing outside today. That is for your personal time. We are on school time right now. The other thing is to be productive. What is being productive? Well, that goes to having your learning zone set up. And once again, using your earbuds. You are eliminating distractions. If you have a cell phone at your house, you want to make sure that it's turned off. You don't want it going off and ringing while the teacher's talking. You also don't want to be playing on your cell phone while your teacher is talking. Number one, that's not being respectful, is it? Because you're supposed to be paying attention to the teacher, not chatting with somebody on the cell phone. Also, you want to put your cell phone out of your learning zone. This is not the time to be talking on the phone, and you don't want to get distracted if somebody sends you a message. Be responsible. I bet you hear that all the time from people at your house, either your parents or your grandparents or whoever it is that helps take care of you. They tell you that they expect you to be responsible. Well, part of that is what we've already talked about. Setting up your learning zone, having your materials ready, being logged on time, being ready for learning once the teacher starts. There's another thing. Every student at William H. Owen has an email. and it is for you to use to send a question to your teacher. Your parents could send a question to your teacher. And also, it is for your teacher and those of us here at school to send an email to you or your parents. So it is important that you check your email every day. And if you get something from the school, you want to share that with your parents so that they are aware of the things that are going on. It might be something important, it might be something fun that you really want to know about. The last thing I want to talk to you about is, why are we here? What is our purpose? Why do your parents and grandparents want you to go to school? Well, it's really simple. They want you to learn everything that you can. That's it. They want you to learn everything that you can. You know, you could kind of think of school as a job. I get up every day, I get ready for school, I get ready for my job, and then I go to work. And I stay at work during the time that I'm supposed to be here, and I work very, very hard. And then when work is over, I go home, and then I get to relax. Well, that's kind of the same thing that you do with school. You get up, you get dressed, you have a good breakfast, and then you go and sit in your learning zone and you start your schoolwork. And you learn. You pay attention. You let all of that stuff your teacher's telling you go in your listening ears and in your brain. And guess what? The more you learn, that brain gets bigger and wants to know even more. And that, my friends, is a sign that you are growing. At William H. Owen Elementary, we are growing scholars. And that's what you are. I look forward to seeing you soon. If you have any questions, you can always email myself or Mrs. Allen or email your teacher. Have a great day of growing and learning. Bye-bye.